Welcome. Welcome to the lunar eclipse circle. We have the lunar eclipse this Friday in the sign of Virgo, and that's what we're going to go over today. I'm very excited. I have a bunch of stuff. I have some notes written down. I got some, who knows what's going to come out of my mouth, really. And I'm happy to be here talking about this astrology with you. This month has had and will continue to have really powerful, transformative astrology. We're really just getting started. 2025 is a whole year of like, I feel like saying new beginnings is just kind of an overused thing, and I keep saying that, but it's really what the energy is literally what's happening with all of the shifts that we're going through. So this is just one little piece of all of that, and it is intense, it's amazing, it's powerful, it's exactly what we need. So let's get into it. The So eclipses work with the lunar nodes. The lunar nodes just shifted signs back in February. And this is not the first eclipse in relation to these lunar nodes shifting. Can you guys hear Aria in the background? I don't know if Zoom has a good noise canceling. I think it's a little bit better than anything else. So I don't know if you can hear anybody in the background, but I'm trying to manage my crying child. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Hey. Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear her in the background, but trying to entertain both of them it can be a lot when you're, you know, with the twins. Anyways. Hey, okay. Yes. So with eclipses, an eclipse is either going to happen with a full moon or a new moon. A full moon eclipse is a lunar eclipse. A new moon eclipse is a solar eclipse. And it has to do with it's the reason why it's happening outside of just a regular full moon or new moon is these lunar nodes are also shifting in the sky. The nodes are actually not planets. They're not anything that's in the sky actually shifting, but it's the relation from our perspective here on Earth with the sky shifts through the signs. And there's calculations, and this is how we part of what signs these eclipses will happen in if we're looking at through astrology's lens. I'm not an astronomer, okay? I'm not, perfect with all the astronomy, but we're going to talk about the astrology of it. And with these nodes, so with the lunar nodes, you have a north node and a south node. They're always opposite each other, and they represent a direction, a path that if you're looking in your personal chart, it's the path that your personal soul has chosen to walk down and to go through, and it's usually uncomfortable. You have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. You're essentially following this North Star type of energy. It is your purpose in a very deep sense. It is just a pull, a direction that you are meant to go into this archetype. When we're looking at the collective North and South node, you're going to apply that energy to the whole, to everybody, to the world. And this is still felt in a personal way, though your personal north node is going to be more significant. The transiting collective north node is something that happens and changes signs every 2.5 years. So it's shifting quite a bit, and it's going in these cycles. Okay, so right now we are in a Pisces north node, Virgo south node position collectively, which means as a society, we are moving towards the Pisces energy. And we're sort of, you could say, letting go of some of the negative traits of the Virgo energy. And this is relevant because this is what eclipses are helping us to do. Okay, so this is a lunar eclipse. We're going to focus on Virgo. We're going to be focusing on the South Node. We're going to be focusing a lot on the letting go piece with this lunar eclipse. Eclipse energy is there's some astrologers that will go as far and say, don't do anything, hide in your house. Like, you don't want to manifest, you don't want to do anything. There's like, there can be this, like, ooh, it's just too much or it's unstable energy. I personally have not found that to be like that's not how I look at it, and that's not really how I've felt it myself. And I don't look at astrology aspects or transits as things to be feared and to hide away from. You have to follow what feels good for you, though. Like you have to always go within and follow that above anything and everything else. You don't just listen to what your mind is logically telling you should do based on, oh, this should be like this, should be like this. Go back in and check in with really how your body is feeling and follow that. So, okay. So let's talk about Virgo a little bit, since this is the energy that we're learning how to um and when I say let go, like with the South Node, we are not letting go of it completely. We're not just going to throw it out the window and be like, well, I don't want to be associated with any kind of Virgo energy at all. It's about learning how to work with it properly without remaining stuck in those patterns. The South Node gives us wisdom to move forward to the North Node with. So it's giving us a really great gift in its familiarity, but we cannot remain stuck in that, or we will not be testing ourselves, pushing ourselves, going into the North Node like we should. So Virgo energy is very practical. It's very detailed. It's the energy of taking something, taking the whole and breaking it down into very small, tiny little pieces to be able to digest it and understand it. So it's like very meticulous. It can look at something and really break it apart. And in a negative sense, you can look at that as this criticism, right? It's like, oh, this isn't good. This isn't good enough. This could be like this. This is why this is like this. It just breaks everything down into these little tiny bite-sized pieces. And Virgo actually rules your digestion. So can you guys hear my kids in the background? I don't know if you can hear them because my one daughter, they're like fighting. Okay. Thank you, Zoom, for blocking out all of these background noises. Like, so yeah, kind of like mentally contact William, like come downstairs. If you're in the shower, come hurry up and I'm distracted. Um, so okay. I love your walk, Jules. That looks really sunny and amazing.
Thank you. I got the best entertainment as I walk to listen.
Yes. I love that. Yeah, that's the best. You're getting the best of both worlds. You get a little online, but in nature. So that's perfect balancing there. Okay. So to go back to, sorry, I'm like so distracted from my kids. Um, okay. So this energy with a lunar eclipse being a full moon in the South Node, right? This is happening in the South Node lunar eclipse, is again about that letting go of that energy, but letting go of the parts of it that are holding you back and recognizing the parts of that archetype that are actually helping you through the process of moving towards the Pisces energy, which is sort of the direction for this time period that we're going towards. So going towards more deeper connection, going towards the idea of oneness, the idea of a spiritual practice or connectedness to God. It's moving towards being in a blissful state and knowing how to maintain that. And another thing is with Virgo and Pisces is we're dealing with energetics and we're dealing with the body and the body's energetic pathways. So Pisces is all like straight raw energy. straight from God. It's out there, it's in the ethers. It is like the endless potential and possibilities. And Virgo is all of that energy embodied physically in our body. So I always look at Virgo as the way that we can feel and work with actual energy. So it's giving it a physical outlet. But in this instance, we are learning to, in this time period, we're moving towards more of the Piscean, but we want to remember the wisdom of the grounded nature of Virgo and what that brings. Because if we're not embodied, it doesn't matter how spiritually connected you are, you're not going to be able to do anything in this reality because you're not embodied and you're not here in the reality to get anything accomplished, to really live your dreams or really even have a deep connection because it happens here in our body. This is our home. This is what we're here for. So the presence of that and the embodied nature of Virgo is the wisdom piece that we really need to bring in as we're going towards the North Node Pisces energy. But the detail oriented, really like break everything apart and analyze before we make any moves, before we do anything, and or break every little piece down and separation into like these categories. That's part of what's being let go of. And there is a physical cleansing piece with Virgo. Virgo is about purity, which is why the symbolism for Virgo is the virgin, right? It's like this pure sense of the self. This and through that purity, if we look at like Mother Mary, the the virgin example that most people look at, right, is like Mother Mary. And if because she has so much purity of herself, of her spirit, of her body, she was able to be a vessel for this divine energy to move through. Even if you want to look at it just symbolically. So there's a cleansing piece. And with eclipses, there's also a cleansing piece. With the moon, there's cleansing. So I think this is a really great time to be like, we are clearing ourselves and preparing and getting ready for this direction that we're going on, for this year that we're going to be experiencing and all the changes that are coming with that. And the power like that is coming through. I mean, it's really massive and there's a lot of shifts and we like and we can't even keep up with it in our mind, which is like the Virgo piece. So don't even try. Don't try to keep track of every little thing and oh, am I doing this right and this right? And then still checking yourself and criticizing because like you're gonna just go insane. So you have to like let it go and just trust and surrender and be in the flow of it and be in the Pisces. Okay, I want to go into a couple things here. I want to go into the gene keys a little bit and human design. I think it's really cool to look from that lens and it brings an extra depth and flavor to this energy. And I'm just checking my notes again, seeing. Yes, also this eclipse, and I forgot to mention, this eclipse is also conjunct, or I guess opposing Saturn that's conjunct the sun. Saturn is conjunct the sun in Pisces, and then the moon is in Virgo. So there's these two pieces that are together. So there is a really the Saturn influence is it can bring a difficulty in working with this energy just because it's by nature very restricting. Like there can be things that you're holding back from yourself. Maybe even things where you're like you want to let go of it, but it's like it's just kind of hard. That's just that thing that is there could just be things that are just kind of holding you back, creating a little bit of resistance. Um, but it can also, in a very positive sense, feel really, really um really powerful and really like you're stepping into a very powerful state within yourself when you are able to, let's say, align with the energy that feels pure to you, that feels open and able to move into these next things. And you're stepping into a self-responsibility with that and a clarity that comes through having boundaries and through having container to have that openness within. Um, so yeah, that's some of what's happening with this eclipse astrologically. So the gene key associated and the human design gate associated with this degree placement of Virgo, where the eclipse is happening, is key in gate 6. So if any of you guys have your charts, you can look and you can see if you have that defined or if you have it undefined. It's located in the solar plexus. So this is the emotional center. Now, having it defined or undefined, it's like it's not good or bad one way or another. If you have it defined, it means it's an energy that you naturally really are expressing a lot more in this lifetime, and it's also more it's consistent within you. So it's an energy that you consistently carry every single day, all day long within you. If you have it open or undefined, it means that this eclipse is going to be bringing this energy to you to be working with it. It's going to give you a chance to work with it on a deeper level. So either way, it's amazing and it's perfect. This is um uh, in human design, this is called the gate of friction. Okay. And it's really funny. It's literally like about boundaries in a sense. It's about who we're willing to share energy with or not. It can also be this gate that is telling you and allowing you to discern deeper who to have intimate relations with or not. So there's like this like, okay, our energies are coming together. And this is in the emotional center. So again, it's a lot of like a feeling, it's a vibe. Like you're picking up on like, do I want to get close to this person on this level, or should it be on this level or this level? So that is the human design piece. But I want to go deeper into the gene keys. Um, so make sure I'm on everything I wanted to. Okay. So with the gene keys, because the gene keys move on a path, there's a transformational energetic path with the gene keys that I think is really amazing and really a amazing thing to contemplate. It's, just let it kind of sit in the back of your mind and see how this can relate in your life and just sit with the feeling of it. So for the gene keys, the shadow of the key of 6 is conflict. The gift is diplomacy. And then the city, which is the highest expression, is peace. And it's called the path to peace. All right. And this is located in the solar plexus. And in the shadow, in conflict, we can all kind of imagine what that means for us. We probably all have our own ideas of how we feel conflict, deal with conflict, look at it in our life. And it's really like we will see conflict in the world and we might think that it shouldn't be there. Or wouldn't it be great if we just didn't have all these problems and these people fighting this and this and what's wrong with them? Or why is someone trying to come at me and attack me or whatever it is? And it really, everything in this gene key and in all of them and in every sense it starts from within, and that's what gets reflected out into the world. We see conflict in our world because there's still conflict within each one of us, in some capacity. And it's not wrong. It's not wrong. The shadow is never a wrong thing. It is just the part of it's on the same it's like the city and the gift is always present inside of the shadow. The shadow cannot just exist on its own without the potential for the beauty and greatness and the high expression of that. And they can't exist on its own just being like some evil negative energy that is just like out there floating around. It is a way that we are able to go on a path to our evolution and to our in the gene keys they make it he makes it very clear in the gene keys that our humanity's evolution into the world that we all really desire to see is not just like a philosophical thought in our head. It is a genetic mutation that occurs inside of our DNA. that allows us to create a new reality, a new utopia, or what I like to call a new Lemuria. Um, and it's really interesting and it's really powerful to think about it like that on this physical level because it really makes it real. It makes it almost scientific feeling. You're like, this is not just something that happens out in like La La Land of it would be so nice to have peace on earth and everybody's happy. It's like, no, we're going to mutate and change physically and become more light in a higher frequency to where those shadow levels just won't exist. It just won't be that way. It'll just be something completely new, or we'll be able to handle it quicker. Because another thing with that I feel with any kind of shadowy, negative, down, lower frequency emotion or vibration is that we think of it as a lower vibration, or we think of it as a negative because we are coming at it from that perspective. But as we learn also to change our perspective on what this thing actually is, it actually becomes more neutral, if not positive. And we learn to look at problems, challenges, conflicts in our life as something to as something really helpful for us, as just or even at the very least just completely neutral and just something that we're going through. And you look at it from almost a curiosity and almost a um just from a more pure perspective in a way. So with the shadow of conflict, this is our own inner conflicts that get reflected in the world, in society. And in the shadow frequency, we are victims. Why is this happening to me? Or why is this happening out there in the world? And it doesn't make sense. There's a fear with this conflict or with this shadow. There is a fear of you being able to be hurt, that you could be attacked emotionally, physically, whatever it may be. And I feel like a lot of these shadows, if not all of them, do come back down to a victim. I think just a lot of them come down to a victim way of living, where we feel like things are happening to us and there's just nothing we can do about it. It just is what it is. I didn't do anything wrong. I sure as heck did not do anything wrong when this or that happened. And in some cases, to some level, you played a small part, or it might seem like you didn't play any part. But in a grand scheme of everything, we always are playing a part, and there's always a reasoning behind the things that are happening. And yeah, I just believe that um and this could also be like in relation to Saturn playing a piece in this eclipse, where you're able to take a deeper self-responsibility for conflicts in your life, even if they seem like they aren't something that you did anything to deserve. And it's not really about deserving or not deserving either. It's just seeing what level of frequency of being that you could be to change the perspective on what's happening that ultimately changes everything. And you actually use it to help you and help other people. And even the person or thing or whatever the situation of the person that supposedly is creating the conflict, you actually help them as well. Um, yeah, and there's a piece with this shadow, because this is from an emotional center. So there's a lot of the emotion playing a role here. There is a let Maya in. Hi, Maya. With this shadow. Maya. Hey.
Hi. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Welcome. Um, so with this shadow, with conflict, when we have conflict come into our life, a lot of times, especially if it's emotionally charged, which usually is, we want to shut down completely and just, especially if you have this gate defined in yourself. This might be an energy that you see a lot, like a reflex that you might do in certain situations, where you want to close off, you want to protect your heart from the conflict, from the hurt and the pain. Don't come near it. You create more walls or you create avoidance. And this is actually causing you to have more pain and creates more conflict, and it doesn't solve any problems. It really doesn't solve anything. It just gives you a false idea of safety, which in itself, the idea of safety is not even a real thing, because the world, it's not that the world is inherently dangerous or safe. It's kind of a strange concept that we have adopted, and it relates back into a victimhood mentality of things are out to get you, things can hurt you, that anything could hurt you, and that you allow things to hurt you through that. And instead of just allowing there to be pain and you to experience pain, and be able to nurture yourself through that and become like a parent to yourself through that, you are saying that you're essentially giving your power to something outside of you, instead of remembering your own ability to remedy and to work with the heart in a way that's actually much stronger than running and hiding and saying, "Oh my God, don't hurt me, don't come after me, don't offend me, don't hurt my feelings." And we've all done it, like, and we probably all will continue to do that in certain situations, for certain amounts of time. And it's a process to constantly be like remembering within ourselves our own power and our own the strength of our heart, and actually the way our heart is designed to in its highest expression to function is to not shut down at the thought of pain, even if because it's painful, we want to shut down, we want to close off. It's actually to become more vulnerable, more open, and that's the remedy, because that heals you, but it could heal the other person if you're dealing with another person, or it just ripples out that frequency into the collective world. We need a world of more open hearts, not more closed hearts. That's what brings peace on earth. So through conflict, remaining open-hearted, even in spite of pain, is the key to get to the gift frequency of the 6. And before we go to the gift, I want to talk about the animal associated with the shadow frequency, because I like to talk about the dream arc animals. I find them very fascinating, and you might relate to you might just resonate with something with the animal, you might not, but it's interesting to think about. So in the gene keys, there is something called the dream arc, and it's all the keys have 3 animals, one for the shadow, gift, and city, that are associated with it. So the fear key for conflict is the squid, and it is actually a healer energy, and it's the fear of conflict. And I'm going to read a couple notes I took from reading his little message in there, about what they said about the squid, and I'll just read you some of my notes. And so with the squid, they say teaches through relationship. The squid is a sensitive being, but its vulnerability is its strength. It teaches you to follow the wisdom of the heart. The squid is also about knowing your boundaries, but don't shy away from conflict, and learning to withdraw and go inward for healing, but not to close down. So it's knowing when to, connect, or maybe when you need some space alone, but not shutting the heart down. And the squid has mastered the art of relating, is what it said in there. And I found that really interesting and really beautiful. And I look at it a different way now. I look at the squid a little bit differently now. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the gift. The gift is diplomacy. And we might all have an idea of what diplomacy means for us. And this is actually at the gift frequency of of Gene Key 6, it is the ability to sense where other people's hearts are at. So you start to gain a sense of other people's, almost how, like, where, if their heart is open or closed, if you're able to, you're literally feeling everything out from a heart frequency level. And in that, you are able to know exactly what you need to do to navigate the person or the room or the people to affect and help them open up their hearts. Because it's not just about, your heart being open, which that's a huge piece. We have to start from within. We have to start with ourselves. But now you're able to have a sense of others and help them through that sense and help them by knowing when you need to speak or when you need to listen, when you need to give something, when you need to receive something, how you need to, and it's not about like tiptoeing around like, oh, I hope I don't hurt their feelings. It's not about that at all. It's literally just knowing where they're at so you can meet them where they're at. But it's also knowing where to have the boundaries because it's about helping people feel safe. And I don't want this to get confused with you have to make them feel safe by making yourself do certain things in order to somehow not hurt someone's feelings because that is not the right way to go about it at all. But sometimes people they need you to stand in your strength for them, and that helps them to feel safe. Um, or they need you to lay a boundary, or they need you to um just listen or be a safe place in yourself, and that I feel connects with another person in a way where it allows them to feel safe within themselves without being a victim, without them um yeah, without bringing in the victim consciousness into it. So um I'm just checking what I have written here. So the dream arc animal associated with diplomacy is the hedgehog, which is really funny. And this is a warrior animal, and it's called diplomatic communication. And some of the notes I have written down for the hedgehog is that there are they asked a question in there. Are there things in your life that you are not protecting right now? And also, are there things in your life that you are being overly protective of? Um, and I found that really interesting. And this is all relating back to the heart. It's all relating back to um we can't just like you don't want to close down and you don't want to have no boundaries. You don't want to be out there like getting walked all over because you're like, well, I'm having an open heart and that's just, I'll just do what anybody wants me to do. Because it's not about that at all. It's about knowing how to discern the energetics and remain open and remain in boundaries. And then a few more notes is that if someone is challenging you, they likely don't feel safe themselves. And that's probably why they're challenging you. So being able to come across from that knowing and that perspective as well. And then knowing to communicate your need to retreat within, or if you're facing conflict, lead with your heart. So it was kind of like the squid was saying, sometimes you do need to take a step back. And the hedgehog was saying, it's important that we're communicating and keeping things very direct and open and clear and having the clarity when we're dealing with other people. And also, we're not closing down. If you're taking a step back, it's, you're laying a boundary or you're taking a step back to process something. You're being clear. You're not closing down. Your heart is still open period. Or if you're facing conflict, you're leading with an open heart. And they related with the hedgehog is like the hedgehog will what I was reading on the thing is like they might come at something with its like little feet up, like because hedgehog is like all spiky on its back, but then its little belly is all fuzzy and stuff, and it'll like come at certain things like this, and it's like it's all vulnerable and exposed, but then if it feels really unsafe and it's like laying that boundary, it's all hunched over, and then it feels safe, it'll come back out again. It's just really interesting. I love looking at the little animal pieces. And then another thing that the hedgehog was saying is reduce the pressure to act, allow time for clarity with yourself, and being gentle with yourself was a big piece that the hedgehog was saying. Okay, so that's the gift. And then we're going to touch on the city briefly, and then I'll open it up for everybody and we can all we can hang out for a minute and let me know where you guys are at with this. So the city is peace. Okay. Whenever we're at the city frequency, it is like it's the highest frequency. It's immaculate, it is it's the ideal. And we might not remain in that frequency for our whole life. That would be pretty amazing, but that would be like a Jesus Christ or a Buddha type individual. But it is an energy that is always present within everything else, right? And so it's something that we can learn to tap into and bring into our life more and more. And it's not really anything you have to do to attain the citic state. It's not like you're going to go out there and if you work really, really hard, then maybe you'll become enlightened. It's something that just clicks. It just clicks within. And peace is somewhat self-explanatory. I mean, it's, we are at full acceptance. We are at full peace within. And no matter what's happening around us, maintaining that just full acceptance of the present moment of whatever it is and whatever will be. And I feel like there's a deep sense of trust when we have peace. And in the book, when he goes over the city of peace, he does talk about a lot of the genetic mutations, like I was mentioning, that humanity is going through in a physical level and coming to this very real, peaceful, like we are creating a real utopia slowly. It may not look like it right now, it may not feel like it right now, maybe it does feel like it, but that is the direction that is happening. We are evolving in that way. Humanity is, and our consciousnesses, and our bodies are, and the earth is, and everything. And it's a real physical and energetic frequency. But okay, I'm going to touch on the animal with peace. I don't have any notes for it, but it is the dove. And I think we all have a recollection of the symbology of the dove and from the Bible. At least that's what I think of when I think of a dove and peace, is the dove carrying that olive branch to Noah and his ark, and they're like the whole world got destroyed or whatever, and they found land for the first time, and the dove is like telling them that you can land now, you can park the boat and like start your life again, and everything's gonna be good. And I know that the dove is used symbolically as the symbol of peace. And with the dream arc, all of the city animals that relate to the cities are birds, are different birds, and it's really interesting. But yeah, I don't know why I didn't write anything down. I was just like, I'm not gonna write anything down for the dove, but I actually have it on my screen here. Because they all have their little messages that are really sweet. And oh yeah, this is one of the journeyers, and the name is the Vision of Ineffable Peace. And I'll read you the last paragraph here. So, my soft billowing voice lets you know that all is well with the world at all times. One day, our entire earth will once again be robed in peace, as will all human beings. When our current cycle is long gone, attune yourself to this deep peace that awaits each of us and take heart from its eternal certainty. Pause from your worries to receive this boon. Within all conflict hides peace. So I think that's really a nice frequency to really contemplate and be in. But I'm going to open it up for everybody here. And I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear, first of all, what you're thinking and feeling with this coming eclipse on Thursday, Friday. And if you want to mention if you have the gate or Gene Key 6, or if you want to mention if you have what your Virgo or what your rising is, I can tell you what house you're going to really feel this releasing. So I'm going to open up for you guys. Anybody want to talk? Jules, I don't know if you're back at your house.
I can share if since no one is sharing.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for this. And it was really, really great. And I think this is the first time I was like at one of your events, like fully, like more present and not as distracted.
Oh, cool. Yay.
And yeah, it was really great. And you shared so much great wisdom and information. And I think yeah, just overall, I just want to share my gratitude for you and appreciation. And definitely, I was gonna say, I noticed I tagged you in something and I didn't realize you had another Instagram account.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, I just saw that. I was like, oh, there's another one. But anyways, I was gonna say, you can tag me in these events too, and I'll re-share as well. And I wanted to learn more details. Just I don't know. That's how I feel more comfortable. Like before, I'm like sharing. Like, I'm like I want to know
Yeah.
what I'm saying. And so like I definitely like feel. I mean, I already felt comfortable with you, but I definitely feel way more comfortable like understanding more about the workshop, and so more comfortable sharing. So I yeah, just tag me for sure. Like whatever events that you have, and I'll share as well.
Awesome. Yes, I will definitely do that. That sounds good. Yay. I'm glad that you are here. And yeah, that makes me happy. Anybody else want to share anything? You don't have to share about this event. Like you can share about what you're feeling right now, or if any of the archetypal things that I was talking about are, if you're feeling that coming through at all.
I was wondering, like what do you recommend that I focus on? You said to give our rising sign?
Yeah, what's your rising sign?
Okay, it's Taurus.
So,
Where are you from, Frida?
Well, I was born in Tijuana, Mexico, but right now I'm in a town like right by Joshua Tree, 29 Palms.
Oh, you're close-ish to me.
Yeah. Pretty close.
Yeah, Tijuana. I like Tijuana. I've been there a few times.
I haven't been so long, like 10 years or something.
oh my
Yeah, I'm
God.
definitely sure. But at some point, we definitely, I mean, the locals, there's a few other locals, we definitely got to meet up for sure.
Okay,
Your
for
la
sure.
your last name Pastrana, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I like that last name. There's a guy, the action sports guy, Travis Pastrana. You probably seen him.
Sounds familiar, but I don't know who it is.
Probably seen him doing something because he's does a lot of action sports. Fairly popular.
That's so funny. There's so many of you guys in California. You guys should definitely do like a little in-person meetup
Yeah.
situation.
Joshua
But
Tree is great.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of cool things about Joshua Tree. That's really awesome. So Frida, for you, your Virgo is in your fifth house, and Pisces is in your 11th house. So this whole time period while we have the North Node in Pisces, so for the next 2.5 years, is going to be a focus on community and a focus on connecting with others, building your dreams with others. That is the focus. And so the fifth house releasing energy is around doing things on your own or kind of isolating, and it can also be a releasing of any type of way that you are enjoying yourself or creatively expressing that might be hindering your growth or getting too comfortable in your own creativity and your own thing, that you're not branching out and expanding and reaching out to others and putting yourself in like more social situations, because you're kind of in the comfort zone of like, well, I do my own thing here and it's really fun and I like my little creative projects, or I like my uh things that I just I'm in charge of this and this in my own self, and it's really fun. It's kind of hard to let people into that or to merge into somebody else's thing. But that's the direction and the pull for this period, this time period, that's going to be expanding you, and especially going to be helping you to expand spiritually through that, being in Pisces. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, that's really
Okay.
helpful.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, really exciting. All right. Anybody else want to share anything?
I wish it was visible where I am, but nothing is visible here at all. I'm in a completely wrong place for visibility of everything that's going to happen.
No. I don't even know
Oh,
if it's visible where I am either. I didn't even check yet.
well, I just had a look then, and apparently the optimal place is, of course, Byron Bay, Australia,
Oh my God, really? Oh no.
which is, the epicenter of everything like that seems to ever happen because it's the
Really?
most eastern. It's the most eastern point of Australia. So that is why. But I think it's actually going to be really shitty weather all around there because they've had a cyclone really recently. So, and there's lots of rain happening up in that area still.
Yeah, they might have a hard time. But maybe, I mean, I don't know. That'd be cool though to see it. I think it's happening like, I don't know what time is it happening for you guys? Is it happening at nighttime or would it be during the day? It might not even be easy to see anyways.
No, because it's I don't know. I think it's no, yeah, it's Friday night for us. So tomorrow night.
Right, okay. I think it's like 2:30 a.m. or something like that here that it'll happen on tomorrow. Or I guess Friday, really, really early in the morning. Something like that.
Okay, so at 7:30 p.m. for us.
Is it still light out at that time for you guys?
Yeah, because we're
Yeah.
still in daylight savings. And I don't think it gets dark till about 8 o'clock now. But I guess the moon will look slightly different, possibly for us anyway, because the moon is visible, obviously, at that time.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll be able to catch some kind of action. I don't know if I'm
You
gonna
know,
try to catch. I don't even know if I have to. I'm gonna research now and see if it'll be visible, because that'd be cool. I would consider potentially waking up in the middle of the night to see it, maybe, but I don't. Probably not.
that I have had that intention so many times and just never gone to get up.
Right.
Or I'm going to get the kids up. I'm going to wake the kids up and show them.
Right. They're like, no. Yeah, I would not even, I would be like, it's not gonna happen. Especially right now, it's still really cold at night. It's like 25 degrees, or I don't know what it is Celsius, but it's really cold. It's like below freezing at night. So
Right.
who knows? We'll see what happens. I'll think about it if it's going to be visible and clear, maybe. Oh, and you know what? I have your chart, so I can actually tell you if you have anything exact for this eclipse. And no, not exactly. At the not exactly the uh, uh in no exact aspects with the moon with this eclipse for you, but this is your fourth house, and so this whole 2.5 year period, it's all about the fourth to the 10th house journey, and it's the fourth is really powerful. It's actually the house of like hidden, like really deep things within that are from our lineage and that have been passed down to us. And a lot of times it relates to the maternal line. Doesn't have to though, but it's like this feels very the potential to heal like bloodline things is very strong with this time period for you. And then it goes into the 10th house. So this is really like sharing your gifts, stepping into your power, being seen, being recognized for who you are, and being able to share with others. And no one in particular, but just sharing your light and yourself, putting yourself out there and being seen. And that is going to be spiritually awakening and spiritually connecting. And yeah, it seems very deep. I know you have a lot of intense things going on, but this whole eclipse season and time period is going to just be has a lot of very transformative, deep healing ability. So that's very exciting. Yay! Oh, it's gonna be good. And I think Kevin
Let someone.
yeah. I think Kevin popped out. And Jules, I don't know if you're there, if you can hear me, if you're in service. Okay. I don't know if she's there, but amazing. Anything else that anybody wants to share? Or if not, we can wrap it up. I know it's been about an hour, a little over an hour. So
I was just wondering, like, if there's any, I don't know, like, eclipse rituals that you've seen or anything that you do that, just to give ideas for me to do maybe something tomorrow.
yes, so I don't know if you caught in the beginning. Well, yeah. So some people don't do anything on eclipses because it's like, ooh, it's so unstable and crazy. I have I have cut my hair a lot on eclipses. I don't know if I would recommend that necessarily if you're not trying to cut your hair, but just I don't know. For multiple times on eclipses, I've had like this impulse to just like change myself in like a quick way, and I feel like cutting your hair can really release a lot energetically because things get stored in our hairs. I would say really focusing if you want to tap into maybe the earth element or the water element because we're dealing with Virgo and Pisces. With this one actually, I would focus on cleansing. I would focus on cleaning or cleansing. So if there's things, if you literally want to like take a bath and just speak over yourself what you are wanting to energetically rid yourself of, um, or even do like fasting for a certain period of time with the intention of cleansing of a specific thing that is feeling really heavy within you. And other ideas that are really nice to do just with full moons or new moons in general is literally just writing on paper things that you are releasing or that you want to be done with and not bring into this next cycle. And you can light it on fire, or you can bury it, or you can write it on like a piece of like tree bark or something natural and like put it in a river or something, or light it on fire. Yeah, but that's probably what I would do. Something along those lines. I would focus on cleansing, whatever way feels good.
Okay, thank you. Those are a lot of great ideas.
You're welcome. Yeah, and I did that. Thank you for bringing that up because I did want to mention if there's, we can talk about it and like have an idea, but it is nice to really ground that action into something, like a ritual or writing it down, is definitely helpful to take it to that next level of what we want. Getting clear on it's not even about getting clear. I don't want to say that because this is not a clarity giving energy, but knowing like just freaking getting rid of that crap, whatever that is, like it's of that stuck thing holding you down. It's different for everybody. And even just like probably moving around or whatever is helpful. Were you going to say something? Kate?
I was just going to say, oh, that's just made me feel like I should bring an offering next time something like this happens and do like some kind of cleansing, rebirthing Kundalini.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
would be a good one to bring in.
Yes. That would be really good. Yeah. Yeah. That would be perfect. Actually. Perfect time for that.
Would be so good.
Right. And then Jules, I don't know if you're there now. I know you left and came back, and I don't know if you're
Yeah, I'm here.
okay. Yeah, is there anything that you want to share of where you're at? Anything you want to
Yeah,
share?
I was walking and we wanted to go down by the river for a minute and I lost you for a minute, but I heard most of it. And yeah, definitely like I guess starting to feel like kind of the rewards of all of my efforts for the last months in ways. And yeah, new beginnings, like new chapter, like new self, even though like I didn't move or anything, it's like still feels like a rebirth. I guess it also feels like kind of on the brink of a rebirth again, like kind of on the brink of that, like, with the seasons changing, just feeling like we're about to settle into something a lot easier. It's kind of what I feel.
Yeah, I mean the rebirth energy is very, very, very strong right now. Very strong in multiple areas. I'm actually looking at your chart, Jules,
Oh
right
my
now,
God, yes.
and you have your sun is actually at 22 degrees Pisces, which obviously and your birthday's tomorrow, and the eclipse is tomorrow/Friday. So it's going to be opposing your sun, which is really
Wow.
cool. So there's a lot of so when things happen around your birthday in astrology, it becomes an imprint of your whole year. So this energy is actually going to continue for your year in a sense. Um, I think it's really powerful. It's really, and this is your first and seventh house. So this deals a lot with relationships and not just romantic relationships, but all relationships. Anytime that you're speaking with another person, one-on-one especially, or dealing with the public. So this is a lot to do with shedding away parts of yourself that are not that you don't even align with anymore, or that aren't really you, or ways that you can um sort of, it's not even necessarily about reinventing yourself. It's just about coming to really love yourself deeper and get to deeper layers of yourself, and with like having a lot of acceptance of yourself, and without trying to break down all the things that you're not and be super critical with where you're at, or physically what you look like, or um anything that has to do with the self. And it's just having a lot of acceptance and being able to have, like I was talking about with the gene keys, the open heart and connecting with others with that open heart, and in return you will be able to help other people open their heart and desire to connect deeper. So there's a lot of this connecting, so this one-on-one relating um energy for you for this time period. So it's really exciting. Yay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, we lost her. I'll give her a second, see if she pops back in. Okay.
Hey, sorry. I wanted to respond and I walked. Am I cutting someone off? I'm
Nope.
sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. So basically, like,
You're breaking up really bad though.
to my house. Okay. Um, so basically, like, it's been really trippy. When I had would feel really depressed and almost like do this self-sabotage thing where I would be like, tomorrow's got to be the best day ever. And then, like, oh, so and so forgot to say happy birthday to me, and I didn't have good weather.
Jules,
Being like
your thing
that.
broke up.
But, and shoot, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you just repeat the last thing you said?
So, I'm almost to my house, like 1 minute away, and then I'll have consistent service. I was saying I was depressed on my birthday for the first, like, for like most of my adult life. And I also had a fear of aging. Can you hear me? Those are planes, baby. Airplanes.
Oh yeah, turn it down.
Oh, I can hear baby in the back. So sorry, I'm gonna try to get through this. So I was just saying, like, I've just been ungrateful on my birthdays, I guess. Like, oh, tomorrow I want to have the best day ever, and then like, oh, something went wrong. Of course it went wrong. Like, I don't know. I was just weird. And also about the aging, like I would look in the mirror and be like, I'm getting wrinkles, and like this was me like 10 years ago, and now I'm like, thank God I'm turning 38. Like, this is the best time of my life. I'm so blessed. And I feel a transformation, like the shift coming off of extreme perfectionism and being more like just chill, which is my natural state almost. Like, that's more of my nature. But I went into kind of this fight or flight in the last years. And I feel that I'm coming out of it. Like, I'm coming out of something big and going into something new. And I don't particularly know exactly what it is, but like it's happening. And so it's just, it feels extremely transformative, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes so much sense because like you're saying with the fight or flight and like we're talking about the gene key 6 being about conflict, and it's sort of like the inner fight or flight response and coming back to peace, and how can you create the more peaceful environment in yourself, and um and that will trickle into your family and then into your any communities that you're in where you hold that peaceful frequency that others can align to as well. And yeah, there's so many good things, so many big things happening, coming, and yeah, they're very exciting year ahead of you. And
I more on that if you have a minute, and you can hear me.
we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to say one more thing. Yeah, so like I used to think that I could only be spiritually connected and only be really blissful and happy if I got my diet exactly perfectly right, eating only fruit. And now, like I feel like now I'm like I've done that and I've been there and done that and felt that bliss and that, but I'm realizing that I don't need to be fearful because the connection is not going away just because I eat some like some cooked foods and that are healthy and whole food plant-based. I'm having my quinoa, steamed veggies, and sweet potato. And last year would have thought that was like would make me, disconnected and not feeling my best and all this and that. And now I'm just like I can hit that vibe really on any healthy diet or on any diet because it's evolved further into being part of my being rather than just based on what I'm consuming. So I think that's a really huge, work progress in the way of like transformation and just being chill, being more chill.
Yeah, that makes so much sense
What about you?
with the um with the North Node in Pisces. That makes a lot of sense what you're saying, because it's about but how keeping that deep connection, keeping a connection to everything, that everything is connected. And that's just the way that it is. And there's really not the only thing that you can do to not live, to not be in that, is to believe that you're not in that. That's our natural state. We are already that. We're already connected to everything and to God, and spiritually. We are spirits. Like we are um this is just this is a dream, this is like the reality that is within the spiritual realm. It just seems like we're not, and coming to that place, and yeah.
I love when it feels so nice. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And you said yes, divine beings having a human experience. Exactly. And that's what the North Node in Pisces is reminding us, and all of us collectively. Like we're gonna see, and it's not gonna be perfectly like, everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, come to this awakening. But it's continuing the process more and more. And yeah, you can't, food can't stop that. It doesn't matter what you eat. There's people that eat insane garbage and are like super blissed out on life. Obviously you want to take care of your body and you want to do what feels aligned for you and gives you the most physical energy and all of that, but you are way more than any of that. So that's just one little piece. Reading your little chat. Oh, yes, exactly. All right, you guys, I don't want to keep you forever. So, does anybody have anything that they want to say? Otherwise, we'll just wrap it up and continue on with life.
Thank you, Nicole. I always enjoy these times with you so much. Thank you for your time and your energy. And I know you mentioned something the other day about how you've been doing this quite some time now. And I just want you to know that you can really tell. Like, you seem, like you really know what you're talking about and you're really good at this. So we are very blessed to have you and to have your expertise and wisdom and guidance. And I look forward to this lunar eclipse. It's going to be really cool. And I guess it's right in the middle of the night here. So I don't know if I'll sacrifice my entire next day to stay up and see it, but I'm going to like definitely do some meditation the night um
On your
that night.
birthday?
Yes.
That's gonna be magic too. Yes.
Really cool. I was born on Friday the 13th, and I guess there's a Friday the 13th. Is it Friday the 13th this time? No,
No,
it's Thursday.
I don't know when there is Friday the 13th, but that's really funny. And Friday is Venus's day. So you were born with like in the energy of the day of Venus, of love and desire, magnetism,
I
feminine
love
energy.
that. Sounds like me.
Yes, exactly. All
All
right.
right.
Thank you guys
Guys
so much
later.
for coming. And the next one is going to be for the spring equinox or Ostara, and that's going to be on the 21st at 6, which is
Can't wait.
so I'll see you guys at other meetups, but I'll see you also there next time.
Bye,
Thank
ladies.
you.
Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome. Have an amazing day, night, eclipse. Love you
Thanks
guys.
too.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.